Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Adoptions from the Heart TV. I'm your host, Amanda Aliberti. I am very excited today to welcome Becky Fawcett, who is the founder and president of Help Us Adopt. So welcome, Becky.
Hi, Amanda. I'm so happy to be here with you.
So Becky, can you first start by sharing a little bit about your journey to getting to the point of creating Help Us Adopt and what led you in this space of adoption, more so from like a personal standpoint?
You know, I tried to have a baby and it didn't work. It's the short story. The longer story is I did 5 rounds of IVF when I was 32 and 33-ish. And I got pregnant 3 to 5 times and I had 3 miscarriages. And in that process, I spent $82,000 and I had, just enough money to adopt. So had I not had my grandmother's help, this wouldn't have been, yes, I had the money to pay for it. So I like to be very upfront with that because it was not that situation. And so I started looking around and just asking the question, like, what do normal people do in my shoes? The answers weren't great. I tried to find, so I adopted my daughter. It was not lost on me that I was able to pay the bills, got her home, still couldn't stop thinking about what the heck would have happened to me if I didn't have this money or this help. And then when I started looking into adoption grant programs, this is where it really started. I'm a publicist and I wanted to take on an adoption grant program as a pro bono client. However, my daughter's now 19. So 20 years ago-ish, most of the adoption grant programs are discriminatory in nature. They like to define family as in a white heterosexual married couple. I don't think that that's the definition of family. I happen to be that, but I don't think that's the definition of family. And then they throw religion into it. And then they're charging an application fee and they're not really giving help. These grants are small. And so I was really annoyed. I was annoyed at the religious issue. I was annoyed at the application fee. I was annoyed that people of color couldn't apply to these grants. Gay people couldn't apply to these grants. Single people could. I was annoyed at all of that. And so I sat down 18 years ago and wrote the business plan, which has pretty much shaped the last 18 years of history for the nation's only non-discriminatory, non-religiously affiliated adoption grant program that doesn't charge you to apply, that is fully transparent. Everything's online. This year, we're giving away $3 million in adoption grants in 2025, which is $500,000 every 60 days. And the best part is we give grants up to $30,000. We're changing the trajectory of we've changed officially the trajectory of adoption grant programs. And I'm very proud of that fact. Like, we are here to help and we love working with Adoption from the Heart families. We've worked with you guys since the beginning. I just want to help more of your families be able to afford adoption because it's not easy.
Becky, can you share, I know we've previously had this conversation, the importance of you making sure that the clients you give grants to are working with agencies that you support and believe in and
yes.
Values and ethics.
Yes. So, right now there's a lot of problems in the world of adoption, but one of the biggest problems in the world of adoption from my seat is the amount of unlicensed, rogue, third-party adoption people that quite frankly have no business saying that they can help build your family. And they are very convincing to the fact that they think they can build your family. But in my opinion, they're stealing your money because at the end of the day, you will hire these third-party people and then you will find out that you then need to hire an agency like you or a lawyer, depending on how you're doing this, wherever you live. But like, you're not done. And I always tell people, like, you need to start with a licensed agency or a licensed attorney, depending on your state, obviously, because we know it's all different across the country. Do not hire a third party something. Like, it's just not the way to start. And then your adoption professional will lead you down the road to how you get your home study done and how, if, all these different pieces that go with it.
Yeah, and just the idea of having the support that you need during your journey of adopting. I mean, even just putting aside the financial piece, knowing that you're working with folks who know what they're doing and they're going to be there with you. Yeah. So tell us more about Help Us Adopt and what people can do to learn more about your organization in like realistic ways of okay, I know I'm in the adoption process. What can they do in this very moment?
So the first thing is, I think there's a lot of shame and stigmas in this world, especially when it comes to having children and this adopting and being infertile. And most people are in that category. And then there's the whole shame and stigma about money. You don't talk about money. You don't ask for money. And God forbid you need money to help become parents. Like, it's embarrassing. And people are like, well, if you can't afford adoption, how can you be a parent? And I'm here to say that has nothing to do with any. Not many people who even have children and very good salaries can afford adoption. They don't have an extra $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 lying around. I'm empowering you to ask us for help. I'm here because I know this is superhuman, and I'm not here to judge you and to say you can't afford to do this. You should look at your finances, and if you know you can write the check and you have plenty of money, then no, you are not to apply to us. Maybe you want to get involved as a donor, even a small donor, that's great. But if you're sitting there going, I don't know how we're going to do this. We have like 2/3 of the money and we need $20,000 or $30,000, or we need $10,000, whatever think you need, visit helpusadopt.org. We're online. Read our guidelines, read our FAQs, look at our deadlines for applications. As I said, we give money away 6 times a year, and next year will be the same. We're not going to run out of money. We will be here for the long run. You need a valid home study to apply. And if you have questions, there's an info email there, and you just email and we will get back to you. But we're help. We're non-judgmental help. I've been in your shoes. I get it. I couldn't have done it without help. So, we're here. We want to hear your story. You'll see the application. If you look at our application and you've done a home study, none of our questions will seem weird to you at all. They're all stuff you have already answered. And that's it. Like, don't be ashamed to ask for help, at least not from us. Like, we're here to support you.
And just to reiterate, it is not based off of racial background, family. It's not income based, from my understanding. Anybody can apply.
It's not, and the reason I don't do it is, again, like, you guys have families across the country. We're based in New York City. What could maybe considered a very high income in middle America in New York City is not. Okay, so, we take cost of living into effect. Some people have already adopted children and they're adopting another one, and we take that into consideration. But I want to read every story. I want to acknowledge your struggle, and we can't help everybody. We help the people who are most in need at that time of the grant award. People are allowed to apply again, because sometimes you're really early in the journey and we have to help other people. Again, we're here to help, and we might not be able to help you now, but we can help you later as you're further along.
Wonderful. Any final thoughts, Becky, that you want our community to know about Help Us Adopt, or you and your experience or your journey?
Yeah, you can find us online and on all the social media platforms except Twitter. We have a community across the country, which is just a compassionate, caring community of adoptive families and want to be adoptive families. And check out our website, read some of our grant recipient stories, and it's just, we're here to help. And take your time. The one piece of advice is this: take your time with the personal statement. We need more than, hi, I want to be a parent and I'm going to adopt. You can assume that everybody who's applying has that opening sentence, okay? So this is your chance to really tell us who you are and why you're struggling. Any other aspects that you think are important for us to know, and that is, we want to read it and it will be read.
Wonderful. Well, we appreciate you, Becky. You always have a very positive energy about you. I think the fact that you've used your personal journey adopting really says a lot and shows that you're very genuine and real in what you say.
Thank you.
People should check you out. If you're interested in learning more, it doesn't hurt to go online, check out helpusadopt.org. As Becky said, you can always email or message folks over there and learn more about their organization and the great work that they do. Thank you very much for joining us, Becky. And
Thanks, Amanda.
I hope our community learned a lot about helpusadopt.org, and we will see you in the future. Thanks so much, and continue to tune in to future episodes here at Adoptions from the Heart TV.